Hello, my name is Cavoukian, and I am now the Executive Director of the Privacy and Big Data Institute at Ryerson University in Toronto, Canada. And I wish I could be there live with you. I'm very grateful to Marie-Charlotte for inviting me to join you today. I'm just going to do a short video on some thoughts that I've had for so many years. And when Marie-Charlotte invited me and I saw the title for today's session, I thought, oh, that strikes such a chord, because I have a slide that I developed many years ago that says privacy breeds innovation, because I really think to do privacy properly alongside other functionalities, hand in hand, you have to be very creative and innovative. And who would do that better than women? Women are ideally suited for the field of privacy, because not only are we extremely reasonable, but we have a way of approaching a problem that accommodates multiple functionalities. So I want to tell you a little bit about privacy by design. This was something that I developed during my 3 terms as Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Canada. And it's all about embedding privacy into the design of information technologies, networked infrastructure, and business operations in a way that makes it part of the program, that it's embedded into the DNA of the program, if you will, so that it can't be an afterthought. You don't have to wait for someone to ask for it. It's embedded as the default setting. So you may have heard about privacy by design. In 2010, it was adopted as an international standard by the International Assembly of Privacy Commissioners and Data Protection Authorities. As you know, we hold a conference, commissioners hold a conference once a year, an international conference, usually in Europe. In 2010, it was in Jerusalem. And at the end of the conference, we always have a closed session where we vote on various resolutions. And I advanced the resolution of adopting privacy by design as an international framework for privacy, because I really feared that if we don't embed it into big data analytics, the Internet of Things, social media, online communications, if it didn't form a part of the infrastructure, that we were not going to have privacy in the decades to come. And fortunately, my colleagues agreed with that. And privacy by design was unanimously passed as an international framework for protecting privacy and data protection. And the beautiful thing was, it was unanimous. This doesn't happen that often, but I think all of my fellow commissioners understood that leaving it to regulatory compliance alone after the fact, after the harm had arisen, was going to be too little too late. Because first of all, as an international body of commissioners, our resources were stretched to the limit as it was. And with the expansion, with ubiquitous computing, online social media, connectivity growing, it was simply beyond our reach to be able to grasp everything, all of the privacy infractions, all of the data breaches. So our concern was that so many privacy infractions were happening, and they were going largely unchallenged, remaining unknown, unregulated. So privacy by design complements regulation in that it attempts to prevent the privacy harms from arising to begin with. So it's a preventative model instead of allowing the harm to arise and then offering a system of redress after the fact. So both are very useful. They complement one another very much. But you have to be very innovative and creative to embed privacy as a default setting. And I should tell you that since 2010, when it was unanimously passed, privacy by design has been translated into 37 languages. Isn't that wonderful? All around the world, virtually every major language it's been translated into. So I'm just delighted with all my colleagues around the world. And 2 essentials to privacy by design. 1, proactive, embed the necessary protections into the design of technology, business practices, operational processes, make it part of the data architecture and the business practice. That's one feature. The other feature that's absolutely critical, and again, this is where women will excel at this, is doing two things at one time. So zero sum means you can have one interest, but always at the expense of another interest, such that the two total to a sum of zero. Privacy versus security. Marketing versus privacy. Always something versus another interest. In my world, that doesn't cut it. I want you to be able to do both. I want multiple functionalities to happen at the same time. I call it positive sum. When I was in graduate school, game theory was really big, so I always hearken to positive sum, because wouldn't it be better if you could have two functionalities working at the same time? In the academic literature, they call it the power of and. If you can have privacy and security, privacy and business interests, wouldn't that be far preferable? And the technologists I've spoken to, software designers, engineers, they've always said that pitting privacy against security is a false dichotomy. These are not necessarily trade-offs that must be made. In fact, they've indicated to me that they're unnecessary trade-offs. As long as the IT team, the engineers, the software designers are called in at the beginning, whenever they're asked to develop a new program, if you tell them at the time, right at the beginning, embed privacy protective measures as well, then they'll do that. So by all means, engage your IT staff and whoever is developing the programs and communicate very clearly your wish to have privacy embedded into the system as a default setting. So there's 7 foundational principles of privacy by design. The first is that it be proactive, prevent the harm from arising. The second is possibly the hardest principle. Privacy is the default setting, meaning a customer shouldn't have to ask for privacy. They shouldn't have to look for the checkout box and read the privacy policy, which is usually full of legalese. No, you should be able to offer privacy assurance. You as a company should be able to offer privacy assurance automatically to your customers. And you should be able to tell them privacy is built into the system. It's the default. It's a given. You get privacy with this program. And when you can tell customers that, you will have their loyalty, you will have their repeat business, and it will attract new opportunity. It's a win-win proposition. In addition, I've talked a lot about full functionality, positive sum, not zero sum. Security is obviously critical. I would say privacy subsumes a much broader set of protections than security alone, but if you don't have strong security, you can't have any privacy. Security, especially in this day and age of cybersecurity, is an absolute essential, and end-to-end, full life cycle protection from start to finish, including secure destruction of the data. Then the other principles relate to keeping the programs open and transparent, telling customers what you're doing with their information, and keep it focused on the user. Keep it user-centric. If you have respect for the user and you focus on the user, the rest is a win. Now, we've operationalized privacy by design in many areas, because you might say, well, this all sounds good, but it's probably just a theoretical construct, doesn't work on the ground. It sure does. In my world, if it didn't work on the ground, it had very limited value. So I'm going to send you some slides that I'm sure Mary Charlotte will be sharing with you, which show the different areas, 9 different areas that we've already operationalized privacy by design. And in all of these areas, we've worked with the leaders in the field: Microsoft, Oracle, HP, IBM, Intel. All the major companies have worked with us to show how you can, in fact, have privacy and other functionalities, business interests, sensors, health services, RFID, security, video surveillance, you name it, we've done it. Because this is eminently doable. You just have to give it a lot of thought. You have to be innovative. And who is better at that than women? So we'll send you the slides, so you'll just have a reference point that you can look up if you'd like to see some more information on this. And I just want you to know that we can grow privacy. It's not a lost cause. You know, people think, oh, big data, step aside privacy, big data's here to stay. Internet of Things, step aside privacy. You know, wearable and wireless devices, sensors, step aside privacy. No, every time we must say you can have all of those wonderful data analytics and new developments and privacy. It's the power of and. Get rid of the concept of versus. We don't have any time for that. That's so yesterday. Let's stick with positive sum and, meaning simply win-win propositions. privacy and security, privacy and functionality. We can do it all. Thank you so much for making time to listen to this, and I wish you a wonderful conference. I wish I could be there with you. Thank you.